Hey y'all. Okay, if you're wondering about my look tonight, do y'all remember back a while back, a couple weeks ago, I told you I was going to get a chemical peel done. Well, I got it done today. I know you can't see much about it right now, but anyway, I have this on. This is what she put on me, and I have just left it on because it's good about holding my hair back. Like after they put the chemical on, they put on like an ointment that's kind of almost like a Vaseline texture, and so I just don't want my hair down getting all stuck in it. So I've just left this little deal on. So y'all just look over it, and y'all gonna have to look over me now for about the next week, because I'm gonna be going through all the different phases of this chemical peel, and if you've ever had one, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, tonight we are going to throw together a delicious goulash. I've had several. It's funny, it's like when one person asks for something, I get like multiple people ask for stuff. It just happens that way all the time. But anyway, this just sounded good to me also, and I thought, well, I've been having some requests for it, so that's what we're doing. Just a simple, easy goulash. All right. So in my pan here, I've already cooked my ground beef. I have it over here draining. And then in this bag here, I have some red bell pepper and onion. You can use green. That's just what I had. And I did this earlier, and that's why they're in this bag, because I tossed them in the fridge. But y'all can see here just some red bell pepper and some onion. I'm just going to let that cook down, and then we'll throw some garlic in here in just a minute. My ground beef was kind of fatty, so y'all know I like to drain that first before I put these in. Anyway, little Belle's over in her chair tonight, y'all. If y'all want to glance over there, you can see her. But I'm just going to let these saute around. I'm going to get my cans of stuff opened up, and I'll come back and we'll get this put together. Okay, y'all, let's start adding some of our other stuff. So I am going to do just a good spoonful of my garlic here, however much or little you want. Throw that in. Okay, set that aside. I'm going to do a little bit of our W sauce, just a couple splashes. Okay, and then I also like to do a couple splashes of soy sauce. This is the reduced sodium kind, so that kind of helps a little bit. Do a couple splashes of it. Okay, let's see here where we're at. That gives it a little bit of liquid. Okay, let's go ahead and put our ground beef in. I have about 1 pound of ground beef here. I'm just going to toss that in. Okay, mix that around. Oh, I've got that everywhere. It must have been coming out those little holes. Goodness gracious. My other strainer, I've got it somewhere, and I couldn't find it. I don't know what I've done with it. Anyway, let me get you up here a little bit closer. All right, I'm going to do 1 beef bouillon cube, or you could do a cup of beef broth. Okay, I'm going to add some water in this bouillon, but you can definitely do just the broth if you have it. Okay, and now instead of adding salt, I'm going to add a little bit of garlic salt, and not much, because y'all know we've added all these other salty ingredients. So you want to go easy with that until you give it a taste. So just a small little sprinkle. All right, and some paprika. Now y'all know too, whenever I was cooking my ground beef, of course I seasoned it up with some garlic powder, onion powder. Y'all know, just the usual. All right, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of paprika. And then I like to do just a little pinch of the red pepper flakes. And I mean just a small little few pieces, about like that. Just enough to give it a little bit. It just helps the flavor. It doesn't make it hot when you use a few little pieces like that. Okay. Now normally, y'all, I'm doing something different tonight. So, you know, normally in your goulash, you would add this Italian seasoning right here. Y'all know I love this kind of Italian seasoning, and I use this in place of that a lot. I've never used this in place of that for my goulash, but I'm gonna try it tonight, okay? So we will see. I'll be honest with y'all and let y'all know. Y'all know I just don't love that Italian seasoning in the container. There's something about it, I just don't love it. So we're gonna try this and we'll see how it goes. And I've got that in case, you know, we need to add it, we will. But we're gonna start with this. I'm going to start with 1 tablespoon of this, okay? Let's see, I'm gonna have to pour it out. Remember, this has a little bit of sugar in it, so we won't even have to add any sugar. Sometimes I'll do a little pinch to help balance out, you know, the tomatoes and stuff. But using that, you don't even have to do that because it has a little bit of sugar in it. Or we'll just have to taste it and see. I don't know how much sugar it has in it, but it's not that much. Okay? Now I've got 1 can here. This is the 14.5 ounce diced tomatoes. Now y'all, I'm doing about half of my recipe. Normally I do 2 cans of my stuff, okay? So I'm cutting this back a little bit tonight, and I'm only doing 1 pound of ground beef where normally I would do 2 and 2 and 2, okay? And instead of using the big can of tomato sauce, y'all, I am going to do this little 8 ounce can because I don't like it to be real saucy. So I decided to use this small one. You can use one the same size as this. I just decided on this. Let me run a little bit of water in these, y'all, and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, I just put just a small little dab of water in each of those cans, poured it in here. Now I have some water over here that we're going to add, because remember we added that bouillon cube. I have about 2 cups here, so we'll see how much we're going to add. So let's see, that's 1.5 cups. Let's see where we're at, because we're going to need to have enough liquid in there to cook our pasta here in a minute. So let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and add the 2 cups, and then if we need to add the rest of that Italian packet for more flavor, then that's just what we'll do, okay? Because I'm going to let this slow simmer for a little bit, and I'm going to put a bay leaf in it, and then we're going to we'll throw our pasta in, and we'll go from there, y'all. That's it for now. That's the only thing left to do is add the pasta. We're going to let this slow cook and simmer, let all those flavors get going really good. I'll taste it, see if we need to add more of the Italian seasoning or any other seasons, and then we'll throw our pasta in. Hey y'all, I did a quick little taste test of our liquid here. It has a great flavor, but it tasted a little bit bland. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add this whole packet. I feel like we have enough here that this whole packet will be perfect. So, you know, we did the tablespoon, and that wasn't even maybe about a teaspoon or 2 left. So it's not going to make a huge difference, but it'll give it more flavor. It needed a little bit more salt. So I'm going to do this garlic salt, some more of it. Okay, and I forgot earlier we didn't put any pepper in it. So I'm going to put a little bit of pepper. All right, and I'm just letting it cook here. I'm going to pop the lid on it, y'all, and just let it simmer for a little bit. And then we'll get our pasta in there and it'll be on its way. It smells so good, y'all. I love a little pot of goulash, don't y'all? You see it here? It look good. All right, y'all, I'll be back. Okay, y'all, our sauce has been cooking here for maybe about 20 minutes. This is one of the really important parts of your goulash, is to let all of this cook down really good. And that's another reason why I went on ahead with the 2 cups of water, because I knew a lot of it would cook out as we let it sit here and simmer, and that way I wouldn't have to add more water later, and that way the water that's in there is going to cook up really good in all those spices. Okay, so I'm going to do about 1.5 cups of elbow noodles. Now let me show y'all. I'm doing these large elbows, so they're going to swell up pretty big. And normally I would do this is an 8-ounce package. I would do that whole package, but you know, I'm doing a smaller amount. You know, I only put the 1 can of tomatoes and the small can of the tomato sauce. So, but you can do however much or little you want. It just depends on how much you want. Let me see. I may go ahead and do a little bit more. That looks, I don't know, I love the pasta anyway. So we did 1.5 cups. I'm going to do another little handful, I believe. I think it could stand to have a little bit more. Now that I look at it, I know they're going to swell up, but yeah, that looks a little better. All right, now I'm going to turn it down a little bit, and I'm just going to pop the lid on it and just let it cool. And that's the last thing we gotta do, y'all. All right, I'll be back. Okay, y'all, let's look at our goulash. Oh my goodness. Look at this. Doesn't that look good? You see why I wanted to have that extra water in there? You need it because those noodles soak up so much of it. Especially I'm using these bigger noodles. So now let me tell you, you know, I told you first one of the most important parts was to let that sauce cook up and let all those flavors absorb before you put your pasta in there. Now the other important part is just to turn it off, let it sit here with the lid on it, and just let it rest for, I don't know, maybe 10, however long you can stand it basically, but maybe like 10-15 minutes. If you can stand it like that, it just kind of helps everything come together. I learned that little trick years ago from Paula Dean, her goulash recipe, and I can remember her saying that, and I think hers was even like let it sit for 30 minutes or something like that. But anyway, that's just one thing you want to do. Try to just let it sit for a minute. Maybe you can wash up some dishes or do something, keep yourself busy while you're waiting on it. So anyway, y'all, we'll let this rest, and then I'll come back and we'll do a taste test. Hey, y'all. Okay, I want to get you down here so you can see this really good, y'all. Look at this. It's not dry. It's not soupy. Like, this is perfect how you want your goulash to be. The perfect consistency. And I love these big noodles for this. I don't know why or what it is, but I always love to use the big elbows whenever I do goulash. Now, of course, you can use any kind of noodle you want to do. I went ahead and I got me some out. I let it sit for a minute, and then I thought, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and get me some out so it can be cooling, and that way I can do a taste test. Oh, and I took my band off. I thought it was sliding back, and I thought, well, you know, it's been on there so long now, I bet my hair will just stay, and it is, especially because it was wet. Whenever I went, I had just got out of the shower and I went with wet hair and all, and so it's all just slicked back, y'all. But look, oh, and I put some cheese on mine. Gotta have cheese on it, right? So it's probably still hot, but not as hot. Oh, I love it. It does taste different. Let me taste it again. It does taste different using that Italian packet versus the seasoning. To me, that seasoning is kind of bitter. I don't know what it is about it, but y'all know it is not one of my favorite seasons. I keep it and I use it occasionally, but I don't just love it. I love to use those little season packs. This has the best flavor to me. It doesn't have that bitter taste. It goes well with the tomatoes because it has that little bit of sugar in there. I just love it. Y'all have to try it. And I mean, of course, you can put it in there and then you can do a quick little taste test And then if you don't like it, you can always sprinkle in some of your regular Italian. That's what I was gonna do if I didn't like it earlier anyway. So it doesn't have that tart taste at all. Not even a little bit like goulash. Like, to me, goulash kind of has that taste to it. And I don't like that. I love it, y'all. Okay. Well, I'm going to go. And y'all just remember, bear with me for the next 7 days or so. These peels, they go through a lot of phases. I'm going to have a lot of peeling, redness, yellowness, just a lot going on. Which y'all know, I don't worry about what I look like on here. All I worry about is how my food looks. I don't try to pose for the camera to do a bunch of selfies and all of that. I want, if my food looks good, I'm happy. So, but I just want to let y'all know that I'm going to be, you look worse before, or let me rephrase that. Your skin looks worse before it looks better, so to speak. Anyway, y'all try this goulash. It's delicious. Try you one of the little Italian packets. I think you'll love it too. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.